Sir, I think I
Look
saw
for the
someone with a
resupply
gun
crate
over
to
there.
acquire weapons and more ammunition! Hurry, before the enemy arrives!
So, I requested a review copy of this game quite literally out of impulse. Like, I think I got it quite impulsively because it had a very fantastic tagline attached to it. The game itself is called Alpha Response, and the tagline was that it was created by a person named Min Lee, or his username is Gooseman, who happens to be one of the two people who created Counter-Strike. So he doesn't work at Valve anymore, so, and he's kind of branched off, he's doing his own thing. But Counter-Strike is such a fundamental and foundational game in online multiplayer, PC gaming, whatever you want to call it. And I was one of those people who was there at the beginning, so I recognized this person and recognized the importance of Counter-Strike. So I decided to request a copy just to review and just check it out. And it feels like he's overall, the game is kind of in that space that's quite similar to other indie games where it's in early access on Steam, and they probably handed it out a bit too early for the sake of actual review. But they do need more feedback, and I think a lot of early access games are in that position where they don't really know where to or when to start asking people for serious reviews, which means that my review of this game is going to be quite strange because it's less me criticizing the game and me more thinking, hey, this needs more work, this is a bit half-baked. I'm not sure where it's going, or this is it feels like it's going. And what follows is going to be my very raw thoughts, just cut from the stream, which I did yesterday. So if you want to see uncut gameplay and me fumbling around and a couple of crashes, do be sure to check that out. Instead, this is just a short edited version. This very much seems like what I presumed at the beginning, where it does feel like a bit of a spiritual attempt at a campaign for Counter-Strike, because there have been several attempts at making a campaign for Counter-Strike, and they never really went anywhere. Like there was Condition Zero, which is the closest thing we have to a campaign, and I think that's kind of it. Actually, I think there was one other thing, but nothing comes to mind. I think this game in particular needs a bit more time in the oven, because at a certain point when I was playing this, I came to a realization that I wasn't really sure if this was meant to be very arcadey or very realistic, because my movement and controls I had for leaning and my slow reloads and stuff like that felt like it was meant to be very realistic, but the number of enemies and the way they spawned in, and the way that I didn't even really have time to rely on leaning or cover, or even aiming down sights, that felt arcadey. Oh, not only that, but like these assets are also quite kind of outdated. Like it feels like something from about 10-15 years ago, and that might just be because these might be low budget or placeholder or something like that. But this does seem like this really does give me vibes of me playing like a game mod that has very experimental gameplay, and like nothing's been refined yet. There's lots of little things. I think part of it is because of the John Wick movies, actually, where like John Wick featured such smooth tactical reloads that my expectations have kind of changed and have grown to the point where like I don't actually want to see slow reloads anymore. I want smooth reloads. I want situational reloads. Like if my magazine is half full, I want a really slick reload. Especially given the fact that you're supposed to be playing a highly trained operative here. This game doesn't seem to be very big, however. Like there's like 100 reviews on Steam, which kind of indicates that there aren't actually a lot of owners of the game. Part of it might be because it is early access. It does very much feel half-baked. But I can see the potential here if the game flow can be improved. So I like those pop-ups for buying, like improvements in the buy menu, having preloaded equipment sets, or I don't even feel like I need to pick a character model. Like, that feels like an artifact of the old Counter-Strike days, where you picked a weapon, a player model. But like, I don't feel like I need to pick a player model, so like that was just an unnecessary thing for me to do. Like, it just burns a bit of time. The disarming and hostage-freeing minigames were kind of cool, but since they're built in the game world, it was very reliant on me kind of hunting and pecking on things that are only a few pixels large. And as I've grown older, I've either gotten tired of those minigames, or I want a more reliable interface, where instead of interacting with the game world with the possible aiming issues that may arise from interacting with tiny 3D models, and the camera system as well, because we do have a shaky camera in this game, I feel like I would prefer to actually see a dedicated interface for that, like an actual pop-up. Especially if you're the kind of person who decides to mess with FOV, which means that the things you're interacting with would even be smaller. So like, I had a ton of issues with, you know, cutting open that hostage their bindings, and I couldn't figure out if I was even successful. So like, I needed more interface feedback for that. And yeah, there's also like a general issue with, I think, the general appearance of the game. This might again just be because the art is kind of, it seems a little bit asset store-ish and also a bit plain, but like, then these days games are moving towards having something that pops a little bit more. And here it's like, it does feel like I'm playing something from 20 years ago, like from something on the PS3 or something like that, where like everything has like a flat color, and this is not something I would flag the game for as a negative yet, but like, there are also those audio issues that I had. There's no audio splitting for sound effects, it looks like, and the gunfire is very loud, and that's a common problem in many of these games, where gunfire can very easily overwhelm your volume settings. So you probably didn't hear me speak during some of those action sequences. Bots would also be nice. I think bots are currently in a work in progress, because going, like, something that kind of pushed me away, like, I really liked the SWAT games. They're very old at this point, but you had to have friends to play with, right? Like, it's the same for the current games as well, like Ready or Not, or TTFO or something like that. It's like, you can't play solo with bots, because the game just becomes much harder as a result. You can't there's no one to cover your back. These settings are also nice, but I think I would want more presets and stuff. I think that's just something that's just not implemented yet. Man, it would be awesome if I had like tons of civilians, huh? I turned up the civilians to max, but I would be delighted if there were actually like hundreds of civilians around here. If they can manage to do that efficiently, that would be amazing. Like, constantly being afraid of friendly fire I think this is because there's like, they're probably just still trying to figure out the balance. Like, I got overwhelmed so quickly with the enemy accuracy, and like, they did a lot of damage as well. That's player damage. If I up that, like, a lot of those were very bullet spongy. Max respawns, it's just 1, 2, 3. I can't break that and give myself infinite or something like that. So yeah, like, I think that's my general take on it so far, where it needs more work. I think that's clear because it's in early access, but I definitely see the potential here in that, like, I really would be interested in this, you know, like, if there was more playtesting and refinement on the actual structure. I'd like to learn more about, like, I don't think there's a sandbox where I can just look at the game world. Can I open up the map? So even something like that, where when I change weapons, the camera moves involuntarily, it's like, that's just something I don't want anymore. Like, I want more camera control. So like, even something like, I really don't use these lean left and right buttons. Like, so like, there are a couple of games like Crysis and where they actually have an automatic cover system, where like, if you crouch near cover and just aim, you will actually automatically peek out. And like, that's a very convenient thing. It's like, but here we have lean left and right buttons. So it's overall, the game just feels old-fashioned, for better or worse. Like, in implementation, you have these buttons for leaning, like, which I don't use. I'm not a fan of the guy on the radio though. I'll definitely say that. Part of it is because of the lack of subtitles. And in other cases, I think it's just not keeping track of like whether I need to know it or not. I think it has to do with the way he's speaking. Like, it doesn't sound tactical enough, if that makes any sense. It really is all about building up that feeling. Like, at the moment, I feel like I'm just a first responder, like a police officer, right? And maybe I am playing a first responder, and then I rank up into SWAT, like if I die and respawn or something. But yeah, like there's lots of little things which makes me think, yeah, this needs more work. There needs to be more togetherness. So like even the red symbol thing makes me think that this is more arcadey. Like I said earlier, like I'm not sure if this is meant to be an arcade thing or a SWAT thing, because like we do have lean controls and like very slow movement and pretty much very realistic movement. There's no sliding. The reloads are very slow, but yet you also have like things that feel arcadey, where the enemies are kind of spawning like crazy. They're very tanky. And like you almost don't really need to use the aiming, the leaning. But yeah, I like the idea. I've said it already, right? Like I like the idea of the game. I've played through a couple of sessions, like a couple of rounds. So I've gone through the game loop, the standard game loop of this game a few times already, and I like the idea of it. But like it really does seem it needs more work. So like the bots are very basic. They just charge at you and shoot. You know, like they don't use cover or. The long and short of it is like I can see the potential here. It's version. You can't. Oh my my overlay is blocking the text. It's version 0.1.2, which means that this is very early. When I got an email about the view copy, I thought, oh wow, this must be a more advanced version than this, and it needs more work. Like in Payday, I think the cops were very dumb. Like they just charged forward and went in to be killed, and like this is the same. Like the terrorists are kind of charging in. So this is a bit of a wish of mine rather than something that should be in the game, but something that I've missed, which in the first person shooter, which I have only seen literally only once, is the idea of enemies not only taking cover but actually like trying to survive instead of trying to kill you. So in Brothers in Arms, all the way back in what must have been 2000, what was it, 2004, 2005. Earlier, I think, actually. But, you know, there was a suppression system and a cover system. And it's like, these terrorists don't care about their lives. They don't take cover. If they get hurt, they don't react. They really are just bullet sponges. They also upgraded really quickly to, like, tank level. So, like, a lot of the class enemy types in this game really did resemble Payday. But, like, the overall game flow is just not as tight yet. This really does feel like something that I would like to play more often if the open world game flow was a bit more dynamic. Like if I could see the actual world map and traverse it. That's going to be a tough sell though, and it's probably going to be a tough thing to do because, like, as I said several times already, it's like I'm not sure if this is trying to be an arcadey game or a realistic game, because it is about realistic stuff and SWATs against terrorists and stuff like that. But the combat is pretty much shooting gallery, and it does kind of break down when you're playing single player. As much as I don't want that to be the case, like the game does kind of break down a little when you're playing single player. It does make me wonder, like what the goal of the game is, and because I did say that this is from the creator of Counter-Strike, Gooseman, and I don't know, like I think I'd like to see what his vision is, like if he had a vision statement in his or of some sort of what he wants. It is really about the execution, and the execution isn't really even done yet. Like it is in early access. I don't know how long it's been in early access, but it seems to have been like a little while. But yeah, like I feel like they gave out review copies a bit too soon. It's a bit of a tough sell at the moment, but I think I still enjoyed the game. It just feels clunky. That's all. Like but I can see what I like about it. And yeah, I really do hope that this can become a more well-rounded open-world sandbox, but it's just too early. And I really do appreciate the review code and just hearing about what one of the original developers of Counter-Strike was up to. And I guess that's at least one thing I appreciate about it to a great degree. And that's pretty much it.
Be aware of armed hostiles moving towards your position. Take them down quickly and prevent any civilians.